Hello, Instagram. Hello, my loves. Hello, beautiful women. Hello, abundant souls. Hi, how are you? Hello, join me as we are live today for our money medicine series, part 4 of our money medicine series. Welcome to today's class. I'm so happy to be here. Although exhausted, I was very intentional about making sure that I show up today because of the intensity of today's topic, which is creating a safe space for expansion, for our expansion. So as you know the drill, even if you're going to be joining me later, I'd still love to know that you joined in #replay. And yes, as you're joining me now, also share with me your revelations, as we're going to be talking about creating a safe space for your expansion. So I want to make it clear, today is about expansion. Today's live class is for those who want to break barriers, for the souls that feel this deeper yearning that they want to break away from family patterns and literally create their own life from soul, from God, from source. And this looks like doing the unfamiliar, because a lot of us, as I mentioned in last week's class, a lot of us are still in our lower money timelines where we create money, but it doesn't have a purpose. And because a lot of us also are very passive in creating wealth. So when we speak about expansion, there is that need for you being intentional about creating wealth and breaking through the barriers that have been existing energetically for a long time in your family, in your bloodline, and really being intentional about creating the unfamiliar and creating wealth from a place of divinity, creating abundance from a place of divinity, right? So as I'll be talking about expanding and feeling safe to expand, the expansion I want us to focus on is where we are creating wealth from a safe place, also creating into the unfamiliar territory. So this is what is basically happening with a lot of us, okay? Because we have been groomed, because we have been conditioned, because we have been programmed. Most of the time, your mind, psychologically, your mind works with reference, right? Your mind works with reference. Therefore, most of the time, for you to feel like it's possible for you to create any amount of money, like X amount of money, you buy into it unconsciously because you have seen someone else do it, right? Especially a loved one or someone close to you, especially mom and dad. For example, if mom and dad were making X amount of money and you are aware that this is the amount of money that most of your family members are able to make, you will also recreate that same pattern of making this amount. Even if you were to break away from this amount, or break through it, as in make more money than your parents or your caretakers, most of the time we energetically get rid of this money just so that we still are able to make the same amount that we are familiar with. So your mind helps you get rid of the money that is unfamiliar, right? So this process, or this what I'm explaining right now, is called your financial ceiling or your financial upper limit, where you create wealth or you create money based on the money that is familiar to you. And if you're able to exceed that amount, most of the time you get rid of it so that you can still go back to the amount that has been familiar for you. A lot of us always play within this energetic range. So there is money that absolutely you know that this amount, I always have this much in my account, right? So let's call that the lower range, the lower limit. And then there is money that absolutely all the time you ensure that, or you possibly always make this money, right? Let's call it your upper limit, or the highest amount of money that you can energetically hold. So most of us always play within this range when creating our money. I'm gonna have to switch on the aircon. I hope that I hope that the noise won't be too much. Let me know if you can hear the background, and yeah, I'll switch it off, but it's getting too hot. Yeah, so most of us play within this range. The money that you know you can energetically hold, or the lowest amount of money you can have in your bank account, right? This is the money that usually would remain after you've paid for your expenses, or yeah, you have invested in things or just spent your money. Most of the time, this is the bank balance, right? That remains a lot of times in your account, right? And then your upper limit is the amount that you are able to create, the highest amount you are able to create, right? So there is the individual highest amount you are able to create, and then there is the collective or the family upper limit, which is where everyone in the family seems to be able to be comfortable making this amount, right? I always tell people that in my country, Botswana, we have this energetic agreement that our financial upper limit is 10,000, right? Pula. And this looks like a lot of people agreeing to this as their salary. 80% of people, last I checked, 80% of my countrymen were getting 10,000 or less, which is basically $1,000 a month. So you can imagine, right? So these things don't just come about. Like, this amount of money doesn't just show up. Because you repeatedly feel safe creating it, it becomes your energetic range, right? So when we speak of expansion, we are talking about breaking through that. This is where the concept of breaking through also applies. You're breaking through the cap, breaking through the limit that has been existing. You're breaking away from a pattern that has been existing as money that has always been created, as money that you psychologically feel safe to create, and you spiritually and energetically are able to hold, right? So now, here's the thing. The expansion zone often feels very unsafe for most of us, because the expansion zone is where you have moved beyond the money that you are psychologically used to, or the money that you are familiar with, right? So even energetically, like, the expansion zone is where you're saying, I no longer want to be making this same amount of money, right? You realize that even in our businesses, when we're creating money on our terms, there is that struggle where you know that this is the same amount I always make, you know, even when you're working 9 to 5. For as long as you have income, it can happen that for the next year or two, your income is not actually growing, right? So here's the thing, with lack, with scarcity, a lot of times our income grows at a very slow level, where your income can increase only once in a year, and then you have to like wait for another year or two for you to experience an increase, right? However, when we speak about expansion and safety in expansion, we're saying where you get to a point where for you creating money, creating wealth looks like in the next 3 months being open to increasing your income, and knowing that it's also possible for you to increase your income in the next 6 months, where you no longer work with this linear programming that your income can only increase once a year, right? So most of the time, as a way to also notice if you are struggling to move beyond your financial range, your energetic range, is where you will notice that your money has not significantly increased, your income has not significantly increased, or if it has, it still feels like it hasn't, because there is no, like, you don't feel the progress, you don't see the evidence that, oh, I've gotten an income increase. So that's what is happening with a lot of us, where it's like money comes in, but I'm still not able to see where this money is really going. I'm still not able to see the evidence of this money, or I'm not able to feel, I'm not able to feel the impact of this increase, right? Now, the reason why this is because money that is unfamiliar, wealth that is unfamiliar, tends to be unsafe. Expansion zone tends to be unsafe, right? So we constantly collapse the opportunities that come to actually move into the expansion zone. We constantly collapse that, although for you it may seem like, oh, this happened. It may seem logical, but energetically and spiritually, there is where you are collapsing this. Like we say it's not a coincidence. Nothing is ever a coincidence. Even with your wealth, nothing is ever a coincidence. Like right now, if we were to just think about, let's look at how Africans right now, because they have, or people of color, how they usually behave, or how they usually experience increase in money, right? What are some of the things that usually happen? Like, I'll give you an example. I call them I'm just gonna use the word spirit to say that this is energetically happening, and I want you to be aware. Like, also share with me what you are noticing with the collective of people of color who have struggled with, like lack, conditioning, and scarcity programming, right? What is usually your observation when you look at how people of color are actually experiencing money, or people with a background of slavery and oppression and lack, right? A lot of times there is this for the most obvious one is the spirit of stagnancy, where you notice that in as much as one member of the family may be able to break through and move into the expansion zone, there's still how they are pulled into the issues or the wounds of the collective, of the family, through black tax, for example. This is not to say that black tax is entirely like wrong, helping is wrong, no, but it's where you notice that the reason why most of us are struggling to actually expand or move into our expansion, we have to attend to, our family members who are struggling financially. So it's like, even a rich person or someone who gets to expand and create wealth for themselves with a background of, especially looking into the background of people of color, there is where they still experience stagnancy. There is where we still experience so much debt. There's also a form of deficit, because there are a lot of leakages, or what you call, financial leakages, where money is just literally like coming in and going out, and not really being able to see what is happening, like where is this money going, where we are not able to channel it to the things we deeply desire, or to our financial vision, where most of the time this money will be assigned to, like having to help other family members. Sometimes when people get to expand, they experience a form of sickness in the family, where now the funds are diverted to the family member who's sick. Sometimes there's where also in the expansion zone we experience a lot of betrayal. I cannot tell you how many people I know who have been financially scammed, and usually it's because they had this extra money that they thought they could invest and finally, create wealth for themselves. And then something happened, financially scamming, they lose all that money. So then there tends to be this pattern where people of color, where Africans lose money or collapse money when in the expansion zone. It can be through sickness, it can be through betrayal, like financial scams and stuff. It can also be through deficit, debt, where all of a sudden there are so many things to pay, you know. It can also be through how, you know, like it can also be through energetically feeling the arrows of your family members or those close to you. You know how a lot of times we just use this concept where we say it's so lonely at the top, where a lot of people feel like they experience jealousy, where even the closest people to you are jealous of you, where you're not comfortable to talk about how you're creating wealth, you're not comfortable to talk about your expansion. All this is unsafe for you. All this creates a form of unsafety for you, unconsciously creates unsafety. Like there are many examples I could give you. Like all you have to do is zoom in and look at how wealthy people, or people we deem wealthy or rich, are already experiencing wealth. People who would say have created unfamiliar money, how are they already experiencing money? When we look at that, we always think, oh my God, does this mean that if I am to make money, I'm also going to be like that? Right? Does this mean this could be me? And if that's the case, energetically, most of us feel unsafe and then decide to not go forth and expand and create more money. Because creating more money, breaking through your limits, feels unsafe, because you have witnessed more negative stories, more negative events when it comes to people who are making money. You know, I know growing up I always had this thing where even now there is this concept that people who are rich get sick, and and a lot of times people always say, when you say you're sick, for example, if someone was to say I have high blood pressure, or I have sugar diabetes, in my countrymen usually say, oh, that's rich people diseases. That's rich people diseases. They're the ones who are eating this way, who are having bacons and stuff, you know, who are having high cholesterol because of that. Just that, in as much as it's a joke, it tends to give us the idea that, oh, if you're rich, your life is short-lived. If you're rich, you may get sick. If you're rich, something horrible always happens. If you're rich, there's a chance that you won't be happy. We also create the story around money will not make you happy, when in all honesty we all want money, and we're able to pay for things that we really like and become happy. And this is not to say money actually is the reason why you're happy. Of course, it's the emotions. You can always choose happiness anyway, but seeing as how there's always an angle to use to bash the idea of having more money, or to also make us feel comfortable not creating money. You really have to like open your eyes to seeing this. The unsafety is created by us, and the unsafety is for us, you know. But this unsafety did not start with us, you know. It has been happening for a while, and because it has happened repeatedly, where we witnessed the stagnancy, where we've witnessed the jealousy, where we've witnessed the deficit, the betrayal, it's like now we believe it. We believe that expansion is unsafe. Becoming the one who makes money in your family is unsafe, because these family members are going to look at you like, oh, you're the rich one, therefore you should pay for everything. Oh, you're the rich one, is that why you're not greeting us nowadays? You know, oh, you are the rich one, is that why you're not eating in our home? Yeah, you know. And because of that, because we love to belong, because we love to belong and to feel safe around the people around us, we then choose to never enter the zone of expansion. So how do you feel safe in expanding? How do you break forth through this unsafety? Where can you start, right? The most the first step, or what I would say that is the beginning of a greater journey of your expansion, or feeling safe within your expansion. I would say, okay, it's much cooler now. I would say, you have to become aware. Like, becoming aware is big. Like, becoming aware of what is actually happening with our money, with our wealth. The fact that you are here listening and learning and realizing that, oh my God, is this why I refuse to make money? Is this why I have chosen to experience wealth in the form of my income being the same for the last 5 years or for the past 5 years? Oh, is this why every time I get a bonus or every time I make extra money, I tend to spend it and not really know? Is this why things tend to happen whenever I have money? And it just feels like it's a coincidence that I have money, but it's not. She's saying that it's not. I'm saying it's not. That it's happening for a reason. And the possibility that this is happening because you're expanding or in your expansion zone, is very high. Yes. So as you become aware of this, as it hits you, as you get revelation around this, you're like, this makes sense, right? Now here's the thing. A lot of times, what I see with people, especially you, my beautiful followers who tend to tune in, who tend to listen in, amazing. But there's something you keep missing, and I want to help you understand it today. Just because you are aware, becoming aware is a first step. Just because you are aware does not mean you are actually doing the work of shifting your financial reality. Just because someone is aware of a behavior does not mean that they automatically get to change it. I'll need you to even type this and understand this. Just because I am aware does not mean I have fully shifted or completely shifted my behavior or how things are happening. Becoming aware is a great step. Tuning in to learn financial literacy is a great step. It's how you are becoming aware. Reading financial books, a great step. Like, it's a way of opening you up. It's a first step to the deprogramming around money. It's a first step to now beginning to see clearly what is actually happening. But most of us become aware through the books, through the master classes, through the live streams, the live classes, and then you imagine that, oh, I've done the work. But then we're going back to our money and still experiencing the same thing. Like, if you were to deeply look at your life, has it really changed? The thing that bothered you about your money, has it changed? Or do you still keep seeing the same things happening over and over again with your money? So you are aware, but it doesn't mean you have shifted or healed or done the work. But most of us stop here. So we stop with becoming aware. We buy a few financial books and we're like, yes, I have done the work. No, it's a great start, but you have not done the work. This work is so intense, it's progressive, it takes time, it's a process. Because remember, programming and conditioning has taken over 100 years, and it's still happening now. Now, you reading one book for 2 weeks or for a week will not delete everything else, will not delete history, right? This is why most people, even if they get to buy books and start doing affirmations, I cannot tell you that how many times I've also done affirmation. I still do them, but now I do them still doing the inner work. This is why a lot of times you will buy books, you will do affirmations, you'll say, I am manifesting 100,000 right now. At that time, that 100,000 is way beyond your expansion, because energetically you are only able to hold 10k or 20k. Imagine at that point you are only able to hold 20k, because 20k is the only amount that feels safe. 20k is the amount that you're able to reference, right? 20k is the amount that is believable for you. But you're like, I manifest 100,000 every day. I manifest 100,000 every day. And you're beating yourself up, and you're praying, and you're calling in your guides and saying, I manifest 100,000 every day. I manifest 100,000 a month. Yeah. Of course, possibilities exist. But do you understand how heavy that is? Because currently, you only feel safe to make 20k. So you saying, I manifest 100,000, I make 100,000, doesn't even make sense to you unconsciously. It feels so unsafe. It's like literally saying to yourself that I am going to die now. Because, yeah, that's what is happening. Yeah, like, so this will be you. I am manifesting 100,000 as an affirmation. And then the version of you that has experienced lack, conditioning, and that only knows 20k, for example, as a safe amount, of like, what are you saying? What are you saying? I manifest 100,000. What the fuck? No. You know? That's what happens. So it's like, you want this, but there's another part of you that's like, no, ma'am, no. Always just think of, the easiest way is to quickly think about it right now. If you were to just be told that, oh, you have 100 million, you have won 1 million, even 1 million, you have won 5 million, how you'd feel? Of course you'd jump. Of course it's good money. But the best way to be able to hold that money would have to be you investing in money work, in money medicine work, in doing the inner work. Okay? So the first step is become aware through financial literacy, through understanding money, getting to, like, be interested in conversation like this where I'm explaining certain things, listening in on podcasts about money, whatever material you can find that will help you expand your knowledge about money. That's becoming aware. That's the first step, right? The second step is doing the inner work or the energetic work. And that looks like investing in money medicine. Investing in doing your own money work. If you want to feel safe with an expansion, you have to go and address the core wounds, the trauma, the experiences that have made you resist the expansion in the first place. It's not impossible to create unfamiliar money or money that no one has made in your family. It's not impossible. There are people who have managed to have the most expansive financial breakthroughs. So it's really possible. God can do the most. I truly believe that. However, I keep emphasizing the importance of also understanding that creating money or having money does not always mean that you are actually being able to hold it, right? So the energetic work helps you invest wisely, helps you hold your money where you want to hold it, helps you create more with your money. It helps you regenerate your money. It helps you build more with your money. It helps you build your dreams, squander your ideas. It helps you remember who you are when you fully embody the God aspect of you, or the abundant you, who knows that there's always more coming, right? So the energetic work is meant to help you deal with or heal the resistance, because the resistance exists because of the many lifetimes and many times where you were made to believe that it's not possible to have more money. It's also not good to have more money, and also just the negative experiences and negative events that you witness with other people who are actually having the more money. So we do the inner work to heal that, the aspects of us that are resisting, the aspects of us that have been deeply traumatized by the idea of actually having more. Right? So, yeah. Another practical, now, as you're doing the energetic work, of course, the practicality is very important. The practicality will look like, because you are expanding, because you are entering an expansive zone, part of also making yourself feel safe is where you make the money make sense to you by being practical around, okay, so what are the things that I really want to do, where you create these requirements for this money being there, like, okay, so what has come up in working with some people is that what they experience is whereby when there is too much money, they feel like the money doesn't make sense. Like, how does it make sense? How do I have so much money? Right? And this is because often we just create the money out of like not knowing where exactly it should go. So a very practical way is for you to learn to go deeper into understanding why you want money in the first place. Why do you want the wealth? Like, create money requirements so that as you increase your income, you are able to say, oh, this income is increased, I get to do 1, 2, 3, I get to sponsor this, I get to expand my business in this way, I get to invest in this that can create an extra income. Like, it has to make sense why you're having more money. It has to make sense why you need more money. It's a way of helping you feel safe around the expansion zone, or the zone where you've actually created more money than you have ever created before, which is the unfamiliar money, right? So in my work, I always say, I help you heal your soul. I help you heal your soul traumas. This is because the reason why I help you heal your soul traumas is because I know your soul is always bringing up events in your life that are highlighting where the resistance that you need to heal around money. So the soul trauma of actually struggling to create money for yourself in your business, or struggling to break through into your expansion zone, struggling to increase your income, where you just feel financially stuck or stagnancy. There is trauma that is creating that, and your soul always directs or guides in terms of what needs to be healed, and so I hold space for you, knowing that your soul is bringing up all these experiences that need to be healed, so that you don't resist creating unfamiliar money. Hence, I help souls heal the soul traumas so they may create unfamiliar money with that divine gifts. You are well equipped to create wealth for yourself. If it's through your skills, through your talent, through your divine gifts, you are well equipped, you are qualified, like you are overqualified to create wealth for yourself, because you were born with these things. There is something you are so good at, there's something that you're so passionate about, there's something that you are good at solving, like you are a problem solver for something. It's just most of us never stick around to figure out what that is, right? So I know for sure that your soul knows how to create the money, and in helping you go deeper into energetically being able to create money, there is a level of healing that needs to be done. There is inner work that is required, right? We do not get to bypass the inner work. We heal, we deprogram, we decondition, so that we can be able to feel safe in creating what is unfamiliar, or what has felt very unfamiliar. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So I feel like I have said a mouthful. I've shared with you a lot. Do let me know what you think as well. or your aha moments as you were watching, your revelations, I'll always come back to share or to see, like what you've shared, and to comment as well. So yeah, even if you're playing later, let me know. And if for a moment you got that aha or that revelation, or where you felt like this is so true for me, or that shift, I ask that you share this this live session or this session into your stories, so that you can invite more souls to keep joining us every Wednesday at 5 p.m. If I'm not going to be there on Wednesday, I'll let you know, but most of the time I will ensure that Wednesday 5 p.m. is our time to talk money, so yeah, do share with more and more and more of your community, especially if you're getting something. If you're not getting anything, don't share, because then it won't make sense. But if you're grasping something, just share to your stories. I'd really appreciate that. It's very encouraging when you know that, oh, someone out there is receiving this information at the highest level. So thank you so much for joining me. I will see you soon. Enjoy the rest of your day.